And welcome back to another episode of Underdog Podcast. Happy Friday. Hopefully, it is a happy Friday for you. With the weekend coming up, you do something, I don't know, get out of the house, enjoy your life. Don't just be focused on work. Unless work is your life and you're happy with that, then go ahead and do that. Do what makes you happy to an extent. Find the balance in life. All that good shit. So, today's topics gun control or gun restrictions, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna look over some articles from what so-called President Biden said and Obama. I mean, let's be honest, bro. It's Obama. It's Obama's third term. I don't. If anyone actually thinks Biden is up there making decisions, yeah, you're drinking too much Kool Aid. I don't know if you should be on an island with Jim Jones, because cause that's where we're going at, man. Especially okay. Well, let me say this rest stuff first. We're gonna talk about the border wall and its restart of construction. No, no, I'm not making it up. That's actually a thing. And the CDC declares racism a public health threat. I don't know how that makes sense. I don't know. Man, this shit gets more ridiculous every day. I mean, like always, I appreciate the content. I appreciate the topics so I can have some social, political, whatever entertainment commentary on it. So I can add my little 2 cents in a comedic fashion and toss in my own personal opinions, obviously, my own personal philosophy and whatnot. So, oftentimes, I'm pretty sure I said it before, but I'd be like, oh, you this, you that. I'm not trying to preach to anybody. I'm speaking to myself, rather. And I'm speaking in the hypothetical terms, you. But also, I do get these people that attack me, whether it's on different forms of social media or no, not on my video content, YouTube and Odyssey channel. I don't really get nobody coming at me. Uh, Maybe usually when I comment on other people's stuff sometimes, but nothing too personal. I just get downvoted. Like somebody will dislike a video I post. Actually, that happens, and dislikes and stuff like that. So I know what I say is not for everybody. But if you can see things from a logical standpoint, you might not agree with my sentiment or you might not agree with my perspective, but you can kind of respect where I'm coming from. And so when I talk about some people and stuff, this is what I'm talking about. Some people just don't use their brain. So I had posted this comment yesterday. It was an article from Fox 13. It says Governor DeSantis blast 60 Minutes report on Publix and COVID-19. It's basically he was saying that the things that they talked about in the interview was not shown on the 60-minute report when it was televised, and they took a lot of stuff out. I don't say a lot. They took different things out and it twisted the message. Normal mainstream media tactics, right? Nothing new, nothing special. So I commented saying, wow, a mainstream media show caught lying. Nothing new, right? Like, this is literally nothing new. Like, it's 60 Minutes, which is what? CBS, I believe. So Connecticut, not Connecticut, Columbia Broadcasting Station. So Columbia, Columbia, District of Columbia. Does anybody catch on to that type of occultic symbolism? No? So it's funny because 60 Minutes got caught, making editing out certain things to make DeSantis look a certain way, like he basically caught a backdoor deal or whatever. Got paid off by Publix because Publix vaccines got the COVID-19 vaccines and they got numbers up or whatever. But actually, one of the Democrat came up to the defense of DeSantis saying, "Well, no, that didn't come from him. It came from out of our office, stuff like that." I say defense, but kind of sounds like they were trying to take credit for it. Like, hey, oh, we should be taking credit. But the person also said in the interview, or that they did an interview with 60 Minutes prior to the interview being released on TV, and they gave their perspective and said, yeah, this is what happened. No, it wasn't him taking kickbacks or a bribe, or because they donated Publix owners donated so much to his election campaign. So it's like donations, man. They can easily be twisted and manipulated a certain way, because at the end of the day, it all depends on the intent of the donor and the donee. That's all it comes down to. So we always try to judge intent of someone, and it's hard to judge intent. That's also thing was when we kind of bring up later when we talk about the whole racism thing, because it's hard to judge someone's actual intent. I mean, who cares if someone doesn't like you because of a different skin color? The fact that they don't like you is really the issue right there. And to be honest with you, they can dislike you. Somebody can hate me right now because I'm black, or because they think I'm black. Right? I don't think I'm black because I'm not black. So it's already stupid. It's already a stupid saying, right? But whatever. I'll touch more on that later. So let me stick to what I'm saying here. So I posted that. Then of course somebody has to come along. So this is Al Cervec, land developer. Oh my god. You know what? Let me click on him. 48 followers. I mean, that doesn't mean nothing. Who cares? Joined November 2020. Country clubs and cemeteries are the biggest waste of prime real estate. I'll bet you $100 you slice it into the wood. So let's dance. All right, cool. Seems to me like some type of troll account. Maybe, maybe not. Probably. Real person, yes. Is it some government or some asset somewhere trolling people? I don't know. But I'm gonna point this out because it's interesting to me. So I said that comment, and then the person responds, and here you are following them and commenting. What exactly did they lie about? First and foremost, why are you asking me what did they lie about? Right? Like, why are you asking me my opinion? But fuck it. I threw myself out there, so you open yourself up to these type of interpretations or to these type of responses. So I said, read the article. I'm not talking about Fox 13. So right off the bat, I'm saying read the article. I'm not talking about Fox 13. What other mainstream media outlet, platform, whatever, is being mentioned, and just in the headlines itself, let alone the article? 60 minutes. 60 minutes. 60 minutes. The whole article is literally about 60 minutes caught lying. Caught putting out a false report. Yet, for some reason, I don't know why my comment seemed to go over this person's head. And this tends to happen often. Because I'll say something, then I'll comment on something, also commenting on different things being active on social media. That gets my followers up, that gets notoriety up about the podcast and the content I create. That's my marketing scheme right there. You gotta be active on these things. Like, I got time to do that in a sense. Because this is my job in a sense. The job that makes no money. But it is what it is. Every business start out broke. Let's be honest. But so I said that, right? And then it says, I did. Where are the lies? You didn't read the article, because if you did read the article, the whole article is literally about how 60 Minutes lied. I don't understand, bro. I don't understand. Like, and I just commented back, face palm. Don't worry about it, man. I just said, don't worry about it, because I'm not gonna explain this up. Actually, I end up did saying that. He says, typical response from someone with nothing. What the fuck? Typical response from someone with nothing. I literally agree with the article. Like, and I done took shots at Fox 13 plenty of times, right? Talked about it before on the podcast. I said, why bother explaining something to you if you can't understand my comment? Like this, like you want me to explain my comment, which is damn near self-explanatory. I guess if you use your brain, it is. I don't know. If you don't use your brain, I guess it's not self-explanatory. Explain that to me. I don't know. But I'm just saying. And then it says, you keep deflecting. You said the mainstream media was caught lying. About what? What the fuck you mean, bro? After I just liked the comment. Oh, look at that. Somebody, and he's doing it from his phone. That's great. Twitter for Android. I, you know what? Just for clarity, I'm gonna show you guys the article real quick. So it says Governor DeSantis blasts 60 Minutes report about Publix and COVID-19 vaccines, and it goes on to talk about so DeSantis says every single fact that I discussed was edited out. So 60 Minutes report accusing him. Okay, so it says 60 Minutes report accused of giving accuse him, excuse me, of giving Publix some type of deal to offer COVID-19 vaccine based on his donation to his reelection campaign, in which DeSantis says every single fact that I discussed was edited out. And he says the fact that Publix wasn't even the first pharmacy to get it, CVS and Walgreens had it. The fact that we had obviously had it in hospitals and other places, something I can attest to because we was getting the vaccine in Florida in like December, right? Like in December time frame. Different hospitals are getting it. And then the pharmacies and stuff were like the last ones to get it. Like the hospitals was already getting it. And I think some of the nursing homes too were already getting it. And so I've watched this play out in real time. It says the fact that Publix was selected, but they were the first pharmacy to raise their hand, that was taken out. And then it says in this, in the story, 60 Minutes reporter Sharon Alfonsi drew connections between a 100,000 donation made by Lakeland-based Publix to DeSantis' political committee and the governor's decision to partner with supermarket, blah, blah. And then it says some Democrats have come to his defense, including the Democratic director of the Florida Division of Emergency Management and the Democratic mayor of Palm Beach County. Both have said the partnership with Publix was not suggested by the governor nor anyone in his office. So they're trying to say, oh, actually, we took the credit for it. We came up with it. Says the decision, this is a quote, the decision to use Publix was made in my office in the State Emergency Operations Center. Jared Muskowski said, adding the recommendation was developed with quote unquote 10 people in the room. Then Muskowitz, why am I having a hard time saying that? Muskowitz, whatever. Also said he reached out to Walmart before approaching Publix and reiterated previous statements that he spoke with 60 Minutes off camera before the piece aired to debunk the Publix narrative. So the Publix narrative was already debunked. It was completely false, in which they were trying to go with, and yet 60 Minutes still aired that report with that Publix narrative. Mainstream media caught lying. So I don't know how this person commenting to me, replying to my comment talking about what was a mainstream media line about. I said, read the article. Oh, I did read the article. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. See how, and you know what? I want to believe this person was just lying to me. I want to believe this person was just lying to me. Another direct quote. It says, I told them that the Publix narrative was malarkey and they still went with it. Moskowitz said. They're in the story. In the story right there. They flat out lied. 60 Minutes says it stands. I already read this article anyway, so I know how it goes. But 60 Minutes says it stands by its report, releasing a statement saying, see, before I even comment, I read the article. I read the article before I comment, unless it's just like a straight headline and no real article or something like that, or unless I already know a little bit about it. Because I don't want to get caught saying something, because even when you say the most logical thing, some fucking body out there will come at you, right? I'm trying not to call this person an idiot. I'm trying not to, but somebody will come out there and come at you. I'm trying to be a better person than what I used to be, because when I used to be, everybody's fucking stupid to me. I call everybody fucking stupid. I'm trying not to be that person no more, man. I'm trying to evolve, become more nicer, be less aggressive. I'm trying, bro. I'm really fucking trying, man. I'm really trying. Oh, man. So this is killing me. This is killing me because clearly the guy did not read the article, because if he read the article, he wouldn't be saying that. So I want to believe that he lied. Here's a sad truth, or not sad truth. Here's also a sad perspective. He could have read the article, he or she, whatever, could have read the article and still not understood what it was talking about. That's even more disturbing. So I want to believe the person just lied. I want to believe they just lied that they read the article, as opposed to they actually did read the article and still had no idea what the fuck the article was talking about. Because you want to talk about reading and comprehension skills, right? You want to talk about critical thinking skills, right? The bar must be set pretty low for America, because I don't know what else to say about that, man. That's really disturbing, man. But that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. Like some of the stuff I end up dealing with is things like this. Like it's like, what are you talking about, man? Don't you're sitting here asking me about my comment? Oh, where were they lying at? Like, what do you mean? Ah, ha 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 ha. Typical response from someone with nothing. What do you mean typical response? How is it typical? How is it typical? There's nothing about me typical because you're talking about me, the individual. But see, he wanted to label me something, but he wasn't clear what to label me as, so it just threw him off. All right, let's threw this person off. Because what did he say? Want to say typical liberal, typical conservative? What we want to say typical Trump supporter? Right? What did he want to say? Typical Biden supporter? Typical black person? Like typical young person? He doesn't know what category to put me into. So didn't know what to say. Typical response from someone with nothing. I have something. I just said read the article. Oh man, uh, so many nonsensical, and then I don't waste my time arguing with these people. I'm not debating, going back and forth. Because if they can't get it, if they can't understand through simple, logical, deductive reasoning, simple reading and comprehension skills, I don't know what to tell you. Like I'm not gonna sit here and go back and forth talking to you. I'm not. What for? What for? Also throw it out there. You see, Prince Philip died. Prince Philip probably been dead for like a couple weeks, man. Let's be honest. Right. Let's really be honest. Prince Philip probably been dead for a few weeks, man. I'm just gonna be honest, and throw it out there, man. Because in all honesty, how would we know the difference? We waited until Buckingham Palace said it. Then he have COVID-19 and was been sick already, right? So he probably already been dead. And then two, I don't know why America shouldn't worry about the crown, right? Because then the crown never want America to be independent. They didn't ever want America to have its own sovereignty. And how is it Prince Philip, but he's married to a queen? Shouldn't he be king? But I guess because of how the monarchy worked, then the one of her sons, right, would be prince, and then until she dies, then she become the queen. See, that shit's confusing, man. I guess it's not too confusing, but it just doesn't make no sense. But don't worry, Prince Philip died. Prince Philip died at age 99 on April 9th. I don't know if this is just some type of another numerological coincidence. We're talking about numerology and stuff like that, but 99 died on the 9th of April. Then you have a volcano erupts. It hasn't erupted since 1979. Man, numbers mean things, man. I don't care. In this computer simulation that we live in, that we call reality, numbers mean things, man. I'm just throwing it out there. All right, so to get into the first topic, what we have here: Biden announces limited gun restrictions as pressure rises following mass shootings. Problem, reaction, solution. It's funny. What pressure? Pressure from who? Pressure from who? And then the whole mass shootings. So the first thing you should think about is gun control. I thought it was racism, right? First, I thought it was anti Asian hate or Asian American hate or some shit. That's something that someone pulled out of their ass. It's at probably one of these think tanks around the country. Said, hey, what? Let's do this next. But Biden. Look at these clowns sitting behind them. Fuck me. Whatever. I don't get monetization anyways, and if I ever do get to a subscribe count on YouTube where I will get monetization, I'm screwed already. So fuck it. Let's play it. Let's not even be concerned about no copyright claims. Of course, because why would you not play that? Because I see GMC Hummers all over the place. So you heard it from Money CNN? I don't know what's going on. Ads, it doesn't matter. Just they want to collect more revenue. Let's see what this clown says.
Ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines in this country.
Who's clapping,
10
bro?
years
Hold on. Who's clapping? Who's clapping? All like 10 people that are allowed to stand there? All 10 people that are allowed to be there, they're clapping? Probably Kamala Harris, dumbass in the background clapping. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, this is so great. This is so great. This is so great for America. We got to stop the violence. So let's stop the violence by getting rid of the guns, because guns kill people, not the person pulling the trigger, right? It's the gun, because somehow the gun seems to magically pull the trigger itself. But don't worry, because that's what they want us to believe. The guns are the problem, not the people, not the person, not the individual, but guns are the problem. Biden. Fucking Biden. I can't believe this dude is such a clown. His pen ain't even straight, bro. Wait a minute. Why is his American flag pen crooked? Maybe maybe my military side is coming out. I'm being a little anal about it, but yeah, that's really bothering me, actually.
The number of mass shootings actually went down. Even law enforcement officials have told me and told other champions of this legislation they sometimes feel outgunned by assault weapons with large capacity.
Outgunned. Outgunned. You really believe that? You really believe that? When you have SWAT teams with AR-15s, M4s, M16s, with scopes, silencers, yeah, you can't have that. Grips, large magazines, shotguns, sniper rifles, bulletproof vests, Kevlar helmets, tear gas, tasers, batons, handcuffs. They feel outgunned. Grenade launchers. You know, some SWATs around the country have grenade launchers, but yet they feel outgunned by who, bro? Like who? Pablo Escobar? Like I don't know who has these fucking
City magazines. There's no reason someone needs a weapon of war with 100 rounds, 100 bullets.
I'm sorry, man. I can't go 2 seconds without having to pause it, because there's no reason someone needs 100 magazines. Yet the police officers and stuff and around the country, United States government, military, Department of Homeland Security, FBI, they have it. He just said there's no reason anybody needs that, yet they have it. So therefore, the government has it. There's a reason why us regular people should have it too. Once again, what do you think the rights to bear arms is for? Not for your neighbor. It's for the government. Because your neighbor is not going to come across the street and mess with you because they know you got something. And they're not ready to put their life on the line like that, because it's just them and maybe some other people. And obviously, when we talk about so-called criminals and stuff like that, they're doing their own thing as well. They usually engage with other criminals, right? They try not to cross that line into civilians, right? And you see, the other criminals are cops. They play their games of cops and robbers. They run around, do their GTA stuff. That's their business. That's it. That's them in the underworld. Try to stay away from that and avoid that. That's why you live out in the suburbs or somewhere. I don't know. But he's talking about there's no reason for anybody to run around with this stuff. Yet, I'm pretty sure he's literally protected by people who run around with that stuff. It's easy for these celebs and these politicians to say this type of dumb shit, to continue on with this rhetoric. You don't need guns. They're literally protected, right? They're literally protected. Capitol Police, FBI, the SWAT, so whoever else is there, government agencies, National Guard, they are literally it's not even, it is literal, because they're in DC, literally being protected by Capitol Police, by National Guard. with all types of guns and high magazine capabilities or wherever else the case may be. 5.56 rounds, 9mm rounds, 40 caliber weapons, 45 caliber weapons, right? What is it like? Most cops standard issue weapon is a Glock, 40 caliber weapon. You know what that would do to you? You wanna know what that do to you, bro? And they got extra clips, right? And they walk around in suits and ties and stuff. And he's talking about there's no reason for anybody to walk around with that stuff. So it's one thing for him to talk about gun control, restrictions, and all the other bullshit because it's for we the people, us regular people. We are not allowed to protect ourselves, but Joe Biden's allowed to protect himself. Oh, my fault. He's allowed to have someone protect him. What, because he's a president? Because he's the president of the United States, supposedly the president of the United States. I don't believe that shit. So because he's supposedly the president of the United States, right? That's just my opinion. He's allowed to have protection. His family's allowed to have protection because you got to protect them. But you, the regular person, is not allowed to protect yourself because you can't have protection. Well, I guess you can, but you sitting there working a regular job and stuff. You trying to feed your family and friends and whatever the case may be. You ain't got enough money to pay for personal security 24/7. So you got to find a way to protect yourself, not just from thy neighbor, but also from thy police, from thy government, from whoever else that might come upon you. Because at the end of the day, everyone's just a human being and you don't know what might happen. You don't know what might happen. Hell, what the fuck, a bear might come to your back porch or something. The bear all of a sudden is like, Yogi, trying to steal your honey. I don't know anything, bro. Like, why can't I have the gun, man? But he's sitting here behind all types of protection and telling us we can't have a gun. Like, what type of dictatorship type shit is this, man? Is it? You can't make this stuff make sense. And this is really sad that this, I hope nobody buys into this, man, but I'm pretty sure there are people out there that buy into this. Like I said, you think it's going to start with assault? I mean, you think it's going to stop at assault weapons? It's going to continue on.
That can be fired from that weapon.
Oh, yeah. Look, pandering to emotions.
Nobody needs that.
I need that.
Nobody needs that.
I need that. Because you have that.
We got that done when I was a United States Senator. It wasn't easy.
I'm surprised they even
going up
passed.
Against the gun lobby, but it saved lives.
I'm glad I was a kid.
And we should also eliminate gun manufacturers from the immunity they receive from the Congress. You realize,
immunity.
Again, the people here, because they're so knowledgeable on here in the Rose Garden.
Hey, ain't he pushing vaccines? Ain't he pushing vaccines? Him, Trump, whoever else? Are they pushing vaccines? Don't vaccines kill people? Is that not a weapon? When you know something can kill people and you give it to people intentionally, that's not considered a weapon?
But what most people don't realize, the only industry in America, $1 billion industry, that can't be sued, has exempt from being sued.
I'm sorry, bro. I don't think I can make it through this. I don't know if I can make it through this. Less than a minute to go. This video clip is only 2 minutes long, 2 minutes, 5 seconds to be exact. I don't even know if I can make it through this. He just said the only company, the only industry is not. Okay. Maybe I heard it wrong. Let me go back 10 seconds.
The only industry in America, $1 billion industry.
Okay, $1 billion industry in America.
That can't be sued. Has exempt from being sued.
Has been exempt from being sued.
For gun manufacturers. Imagine how different it would be.
The only industry in America. What about pharmaceutical companies? What about these companies that are creating vaccines and people are dying? They cannot be sued. They cannot be held liable. He just said the only industry that cannot be sued or held liable, right? I don't know. You know what? Even though his state of mind is all over the place, he's not a complete idiot to some degree. He's fucking lying. He's lying, man. When I say these people stand up there and lie to us like it's just a normal day, they literally sat here and lied to us like it's just a normal day. Like it's just talking and breathing at the same time. He just lied. So where are your fact checkers for this shit? Right? He's literally just just stood there and lied. No other industry. It's the pharmaceutical industry. Modern medicine, right? The medical industry. Malpractice. Like people kill people all the time. All the time. How many people actually get sued? How many times you see one of those infomercials come on TV during the middle of the day or late at night and stuff? Have you taken this drug? Did you take this drug? If so, you might be able to receive some type of compensation. The FDA has this and this. Like, but we were talking about with vaccines and stuff, they literally have no liability. And that got passed in like this, what, the 70s, I think? Which, let's be honest, he probably was a part of that as well. Just like he was on the Senate committee for MK Ultra. Come on, man. Come on, man. Guy's a clown, bro.
Had that same exemption been available to tobacco companies who knew and lied about the danger they were causing, the cancer caused and the like.
What about
Imagine where we'd
FDA?
be.
FDA GMOs.
This is the only outfit that is exempt from being sued. If I get one thing on my list, the Lord came down and said, Joe, you get one of these, give me that one. Because I tell you what,
Give me that one.
there would be a come to the Lord moment these folks would have real quickly. But they're not. They're not. They're exempt.
Oh God, don't play nothing else, man. Don't play nothing else, man. What a joke, bro. And this is y'all president? Huh? This is y'all president? This is people voted for this. People actually voted for this. And let's be honest, I don't think people realize what they voted for. It doesn't even matter anyways. Your vote don't count, so it's just a game to play and make it kind of feel good, you know. Like you go play the lottery, you don't think you're gonna actually win, but you do it just anyways. Just out of hope. Hope is irrational, so yeah, you just throw it out there. It's kind of let's see what CNN has to say in this article. A bunch of geniuses out there. It's facing pressure to act after a recent spat of high-profile mass shootings. Okay. We're going to do that, huh? Right? Okay, yeah, I forgot this what the headline said. President Joe Biden unveiled a package of moves Thursday to seek address and scour, just to seek Thursday that seek to address a scourge of gun violence he deemed a quote-unquote blemish on the nation. That's a blemish on the nation? That's a blemish on the nation. All right. All right, whatever. The gun violence in this country is an epidemic. That's an epidemic, huh? That's an epidemic. The executive actions, which Biden repeatedly argued did nothing to impinge on the Second Amendment right to bear arms, include efforts to restrict weapons known as ghost guns. That could. Bro, who comes up with this shit, bro? A ghost gun? Ghost guns. I think I was watching a new YouTube. I think I was watching a Natalie Denise channel on YouTube, and she explained what ghost guns were. I didn't know what the fuck they were. I didn't know what they were because I mean, you're just making up shit, man. Just making up terms. I can't. I'm actually crying tears out of my eyes because this shit is so stupid. It's so stupid that I just have to laugh at it, man. Now I have no problem calling those people stupid because they're liars. And when I call them stupid, I'm calling them stupid because their lies are so bad that they're too stupid to even tell a good lie. Because they don't even care enough. Because they're so arrogant that they think the rest of us are that stupid. They really think we're this dumb. They don't even have the respect for us to lie to us in a decent manner. Think about that. He doesn't have the respect for us to lie to us in a decent manner. He literally just sat there and said that the gun industry, gun manufacturing, whole industry, we're not liable for the deaths. But vaccines are literally the industry that is also not liable for deaths. And they literally create things and put aborted fetuses in them mRNA affecting your DNA and stuff, doing all types of things that, depending on your biological, your genetic coding, you notice that computer code, genetic code, program, software, but they literally do that stuff and it causes people to die and they are not liable whatsoever. Yeah, I did some research on it. I can nothing. That goes along with Trump too, throwing it out there. That's kind of messed up. Kind of hoping he had a plan to make these people, these vaccine companies liable. I don't know. I didn't see. I couldn't find anything, but I was throwing it out there. And so you can say, "Oh, you voted for it. You're an idiot." Oh, go ahead and call it. Hey, I'm okay with that too. I'm okay with that criticism. I'm okay with that. Maybe I voted because I had to balance it out. I voted for Obama. Well, let me balance it out the other way. Plus, didn't think my vote counts anyways. Just throwing it out there. Whatever. Ghost guns. So ghost guns can be built using parts and instructions purchased online. So IKEA. IKEA, right? That's basically what we're talking about. IKEA. You go to IKEA, you pick out the furniture, you get something on Amazon or Walmart. It's cheap because you gotta build it yourself. Ghost guns, ghost furniture. Hey man, law of correspondence. Nothing makes sense until you compare it to something else. And then you realize the shit doesn't make sense at all. So apparently ghost guns is a thing, which is wild because I guess you're not worried about being tracked or a trace or a background checks. You can just build it. So the moves are limited in scope and fall short of the steps Biden has vowed to pressure Congress to take. Still, they fulfilled his pledge last month to take common sense steps on his own. Common sense steps on his own. I don't know how you pull out common sense steps on his own, but whatever. He also announced that he is nominating gun control advocate David Chipman to lead the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. ATF, but we forget the E. Man, it's funny because when governments do their little acronyms, their alphabetical acronyms and stuff, whatever, all these damn agencies, some of the acronyms they say fuck it. Like CDC with prevention, they say fuck it. Just don't worry about the P. We're just gonna do the acronym, right? Doesn't matter. As long as it sounds catchy, we're just gonna go with it. It says which hasn't had a permanent director in place since 2015. How the fuck? Then again, I also don't understand why there's the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Fire. I never understood why ATF even existed. You shouldn't be trying to take my guns anyways. Alcohol and tobacco are illegal, so whatever. Oh, I guess I can't make my own tobacco, right? Can't have my own moonshine. That's illegal. Anytime you try to do something on your own, it's illegal. But if some company, some corporation comes behind you and does that shit, it's business. You do it, it's illegal. They do it, it's business. This is Biden emphasized the announcement only amount to the first steps toward addressing gun violence. Okay, but what exactly is it? All right, I'm just kind of scrolling through the article real quick. So it's just a ghost gun thing. On Thursday, announced a persistent struggle in convincing Washington to act on. Why do you need to convince Washington? Washington does not make the rules. Washington Congress does not make the rules and laws. So I know they act like they do, but it's we the people, right? They're supposed to be representations. They're supposed to be representatives. It's supposed to be a democratic constitutional republic. Constitution, they don't give a fuck about. Democracy, they don't care because elections don't even matter. Your vote doesn't matter, right? Republic representatives doesn't fucking matter either because they fall in line with corporations who give them huge donations. So at what point do people in America realize that there is no country, right? There's no country in which you think exists in the sense of America, liberty, individuality, sovereignty. That does not exist. It hasn't existed for generations. And it keeps getting further, and further away from that. To a point now, it's literally in our face that we're not even close to that. What they call a banana republic. I mean, corruption is everywhere, right? Restrictions of your laws and movements COVID-19 passports, all this other shit. Can't go nowhere, can't do this. Gotta wear a mask. Now you can't have a gun, right? You can't do all this other stuff. Your vote don't count. At what point do Americans realize there is no freedom? The only freedom that exists is the freedom that's in your mind for the most part, and in your regular everyday life, maybe to some extent, maybe. But this past year, we all saw that. Ha, where's the freedom at? Where is the freedom at? But we all want to stand up and do something about it. We could take that shit back. Why you think they want to take away the guns? Because we all say, hey, we don't want to do this shit. You're not going to take away our guns. Guess what? They get a little nervous then. Because you can't kill all the citizens. It's going to make yourself look bad. Perception is everything for these people. And they use perception to manipulate us. But perception is not reality. That was one of the things I always got pissed off in the Air Force. Perception is reality. I'm like, no, it's not. Well, if people think you're doing this, then that's what it is. I'm like, that's stupid. That means you're too lazy to sit there and question the narrative. You're too lazy to actually pay attention to the individual. That's getting to go back and forth with other staff sergeants, other NCOs, higher ranking NCOs, and whoever, officers. I'm like, no, man. This perception reality thing is dumb. You guys actually pay attention to people. Pay attention to the person, the individual. Talk to people. Understand what's going on. Don't just see something and be like, oh, yeah, well, it must be this way. It's laziness, man. It's laziness. It's laziness. It talks about West Wing mood after recent shootings. Like it's whatever. It was a 10-year ban on assault weapons. 1994 to the disappointment of a failed push of universal background checks in the wake of the 2012 Sandy Hook massacre. Wow, Sandy Hook massacre, huh? And I believe in the Sandy Hook city itself, it declared nobody died, that it had no murders for that year. But maybe because it was December and they just didn't put out the numbers yet, even though that came out months after December. But whatever. Even though some of the kids seem to have died, but then they were shown later in different interviews, so like that. But whatever. And the guy, one of the parents, caught on camera laughing about it and then faking it and then going into crying mode as soon as the so-called cameras came on. Talking about recent shootings in Georgia. See, oh yeah, because of this shooting, because of that shooting. You don't see no mention of Chicago in this, right? You don't hear them talk about where there are restrict gun laws already. It doesn't do anything because no laws stop people. People are going to do what the fuck they want to do, regardless of any laws, regardless of any deity, regardless of anything. There are some people that would do, we all do what we want to do, period. That's just what it always comes down to. Some of us a little bit more than others. Some of us want to do things that hurt other people. If you want to be that type of person, you think a law is going to stop you? You think some sheet of paper is going to stop you? Some sheet of paper that doesn't exist because you never even see the law? When the last time you actually seen a physical law written out in front of your face to follow, to go by? Most of the laws we talk about, in a sense, theoretical. Like, it's all in your head. It's all in your head. You don't run that red light. Why? Because you choose not to run that red light. Oh, there's the laws against that. Where's the law at? Where is it at? You can find a copy on the internet, but can you find the actual physical written down law? Right? Or do you have to go somewhere to that one specific place to find the actual physical law? Is it actually posted everywhere? Nah. The lot of things we do on a day-to-day basis, on our regular day-to-day basis, we just do it because we don't want to do these things. Or we do it because we choose to do these things. You'll run past a red light because it's a red light, indicating you that you should probably stop because the light for the intersecting crosser vehicle, whatever, the road is green. So you're stopping because shit, it's probably not clear. So you're really just stopping because you're just waiting. So we all just buy into this stuff, but really it's just human nature because we all want to have some type of structure, right? These laws mean nothing. These laws do nothing. It's already in us to want to have some type of structure because we all have to figure out how to live with each other. So laws do nothing. We think they do, but they actually do nothing other than apply appearance of pressure or social pressure or wherever the case may be. Now, if you so-called break a law, you can get put away, right? Prison, jail, whatever. But at the same time, they also got to catch you first. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, bro. How many times you seen that red light, you said, fuck it, you're going. How many times you didn't come to a complete stop at that stop sign and you rolled past that bitch and kept going? You broke the law right there. Jaywalking. Oh, you said, fuck the crosswalk. You're just going to cross right here. You get away with it, don't you? Right? Nobody says anything, right? You get away with it, right? Laws mean nothing, man. It's just us human beings. That's it. That's it. You want to talk about being autonomous, being self-governing? We're already self-governing, but no one even realizes it. Think about it. Think about all the laws that you probably break throughout a day, throughout a week, throughout your life. Think about all the laws now that you didn't realize was a law, but you went ahead and did certain things because you know it made sense to you and you didn't want to infringe on someone else's rights. Every day that you do not kill someone, do you not kill someone because of law or because you don't want to be, I don't know, a murderer? You don't want to be a killer. You don't want to kill another human being. Do you need a law to tell you that? That's self-governing right there. You not killing someone every day is self-governance. You don't need someone to tell you that. Gun laws do nothing. You don't need someone to tell you don't go out and shoot someone. You choose not to. You have that weapon for your own personal protection because, yeah, you might think that way, but you're not sure if everybody around you is thinking exactly the same way. But just in case, you got something for their ass. Just in case they want to act funny, you got something for them. Yeah, doesn't mean you have to fire it off. Doesn't mean you got to go into a Wild Wild West shootout. You just letting them know, hey, just in case you want to go about this a certain way, don't worry. I got something. So if you want to go down this road, you want to take this route, then we can go in this direction. But you might want to think twice about it. Once again, I always throw out the analogy, nuclear weapons, right? The United States government said they have nuclear weapons for deterrent, right? To make sure no one else drops it. Well, how come I can't have a weapon for deterrent to make sure someone else doesn't come at me with a gun? Oh man, it's all funny, man. None of this shit makes sense, man. None of this shit makes sense. Don't buy into this stuff, man. That hypothetical you out there, don't buy into this. Don't buy into this. Because all they're trying to get us to do is just give up stuff. Give up stuff. Because I think I talked about it before, and I heard people mention on the internet, so hermetic laws, which is the universal laws, and saying, oh, you can't, it's something about free will. They can't. No, because free will is free will. Nobody can take that from you. At least no human being, let's keep it in that context. No fucking human being can take free will from you, right? They're just like you. They can't take it from you. So that means no one can take your rights from you. In fact, there are no rights. It's just your life. So when we're talking about someone trying to take rights away from you, they're not trying to take rights away from you. They're trying to make you think you don't have the ability to do something anymore. Taking away your guns lets you know that you don't have the ability to protect yourself anymore. Once again, creating dependency. Because if you don't have the ability to protect yourself, then who are you going to rely on to protect you? The state, local police, the government. Now, I said I don't want to think of police officers as people that protect us because you should be able to protect yourself. That's not a disrespect to police officers or anything like that, or military members, none of that stuff. Obviously, I'm a military vet. Like, that's not disrespect to anybody, but it's you need to be able to protect yourself because at the end of the day, if you cannot stand up for yourself, you give up all sense of independence. And now you have to rely on someone else. You have to be dependent on someone else to protect you. And that's what the government wants. They want you to feel like you need to be protected by them because that creates dependency. Now you're looking out. Now you're looking up in a sense to the government saying, hey, can you protect me? And then it goes, hey, well, can you take care of me? Can you feed me? Can you provide me a shelter? Almost like you're a goddamn child. Yet again. This is what it's all about, man. And it's so obvious now, right? Because years ago, if I was mentioning stuff, I was just saying, "Oh, I'm conspiracy theories," blah blah. Now I'm saying this, hey, this term conspiracy theory is no longer a joke. I was saying it's a joke. This is flat out in our face. This is flat out in our face, man. I never even knew that. I'm like, damn, am I in the same timeline? I didn't even realize that there was a ban on assault weapons in 1994 in the 90s. I didn't know that. That's disturbing that they already passed this already. Then again, that's probably why I was shocked that I can get an AR-15. I was like, oh man, I can get this. Why? It's the sad part. You shouldn't be shocked. You shouldn't be shocked by that at all. Of course you can get it. Why can't you? Why can't you? Like I said, if I want a rocket launcher, why can't I have a rocket launcher? And we say, oh, you can't. You shouldn't be able to have one. Why? What? Me, the regular person, who's to say I'm any better or any less than the military that has a rocket launcher? Right? Even with background checks and talking about people with mental illness, stuff like that. I have depression, so some people will say because I have depression, right? I'm not allowed to have a weapon. Yet, I had depression while I was in the military. Guess what I had? A goddamn weapon. Didn't stop the government from sending me to Afghanistan, right? With two weapons at that. M9 and an M4 at the same time. Didn't stop the government from teaching me how to throw a grenade. Didn't stop the government from showing me how to use a machine gun. What was it? Was it a bar? 52? Yeah. Then stop that, right? Then stop showing some type of restraining techniques. What is it? Chauvin put your knee on someone's shoulder / neck area. Then stop me from doing that. Learn that training, right? Had all type of mental illness, and guess what? People still in the military right now still have all types of mental illness. Somebody's probably addicted to morphine. Somebody's probably addicted to Motrin. Somebody's probably tons of alcoholics. There's some sexual assault cases. There's some rapists. There was a murderer when I was stationed in Montana at Great Falls at Mountain Air Force Base. There's all types of stuff, right? Oh, you don't hear about those. You don't hear about it. That's military's dirty little secrets. It gets publicated. It gets put on their news articles, stuff like that. Mainstream media just never picks it up. Your local news might pick it up. That's about it. Mainstream media, you're not gonna pick it up, man. That's why the whole line between heroes and villains and stuff, or the categories of heroes and villains, is sketchy at best, because we're all talking about human beings, and well, of course, we all know human beings are flawed by nature. We have to be flawed. It's an experience that we're having. It's part of evolving our consciousness. So we have to be flawed. Because if we came out perfect, one, that'll be really goddamn boring. Two, you wouldn't learn nothing. If you already knew how to do everything, there'll be no purpose. There'll be no reason to grow. There'll be no reason to do anything. You're already perfect. Nobody wants to be perfect. You want to be able to learn things. You want to be able to grow. You want to be able to evolve. But see, all these labels, these categories, all these different things and stuff, it's all by design to get you to think a certain way. Why do you think they always say white and black? To get you to try to view the world in white and black, knowing damn well it's not white and black, it's gray. You gotta find the middle area. Let's see what else is in this article. I think that's pretty much it. This keeps talking about ghost guns are fucking ghost guns, man. I thought I saw something about background checks. I think I heard someone else say it, talking about background checks. I was watching YouTube or somebody's video. It was talking about I think it was Young Ripper 59. I think it was talking about background checks or something like that. That they're trying to bring up in this argument. The loophole. So you go to a store, there's a background check, but if you go to a gun show, there is no background check. I don't know how that works, because I bought my first gun in Montana. So I went into a store and bought it. They took my license, so I'm pretty sure they did a background check. They did some type of, actually they did say that. Bought a gun here in Florida at a gun show, AR. Pretty sure they took my license and did the same thing. Do some type of background check. Really, the background check, I think, is to make sure you're not a felon or something like that. That's pretty much it. I mean, be honest with you, I think if you're walking around as a so-called free citizen, regardless of what you did in your past, you should be allowed to have a weapon. Some people might not like that, but if we as society supposedly deem it okay for you to be walking around and not be in prison, then why should you not get all the stuff back that you had before you went to prison? Why you need to be continuously punished for your past mistakes or past life choices? And the goal is to move and grow beyond that instead of constantly being reminded. So I don't know why felons can't have guns. If you're an ex-felon, I don't understand why you can't have a gun. Right? I also understand why you can't vote. I mean, voting is not that great apparently anyway, so nothing like it really matters. But yeah, the whole background checks and stuff, you don't think they read it? You don't think there's some type of undocumented, unknown registry of people that have guns? Even if it's just a receipt of sale. You don't think that's put on some type of PDF document or Excel sheet somewhere? Some type of table is created and collected of all the people that have purchased a gun. Just keeping a receipt of sale, something like that. And I say, I don't know how it's a loophole at a gun show because one, I don't even have a concealed permit. So it goes to a gun show. I had to have it sent to a store and pick it up from there because it's you can't walk out because you don't have a concealed permit. I'm like, what? No, it's in a box, bro. It's in a box. Like, it's in a box. Like, I don't understand. It's funny. You can't walk out of a gun show with the gun that you just purchased because you don't have a concealed carry permit or whatever. But you can go to a retail store, purchase a gun, and walk to your car and go. What is the difference? There literally is no difference. Regardless, you're making a purchase. And then if it's a private purchase, you can buy a gun privately from another person. Do you have to worry about concealed permit then? A concealed carry permit or whatever? You don't have to worry about that then, do you? Nah. But if you go to the gun show, we can't give you the gun right now. You don't have a concealed carry permit, so you got to go somewhere else. Or you got to go to the store first and pick it up. I was like, but I go to the store and pick it up. That means I'm just going to leave with it anyway. He's like, yeah, it's stupid. Yeah, it's stupid, bro. What are those deterrent methods? Because we don't want you to buy a gun at a gun show. It's a gun show, man. It's a gun show. This whole CNN article is weak, by the way. They don't really talk to. I probably should have really read more into it, but watching that clip is good enough. I just like making fun of CNN for the most part, man. We had an article here from Business Insider. I tend to use them often. Now I think about it. Whatever. It says the Biden administration says it may restart construction of the border wall to fill gaps left by Trump. You can't make this shit up, man. The Biden administration says it may restart construction of the border wall to fill gaps left by Trump. You can't make this up. So are they admitting that there's a border crisis now? Are they admitting there's a border crisis? Doesn't matter. They're climbing over the border and dropping kids off down from the fence anyways. Or the wall, whatever you want to call it. Fucking stupid ass people, man. It says the Biden administration may restart building some of the wall along the United States southern border despite President Joe Biden's pledge to cease construction of former President Donald Trump's Keystone Project. So he's already backtracking. Did he reach his so-called 100-day mark yet? Because he's already backtracking. He's not even close. Oh, God damn it. I keep looking up at houses and stuff. I'm trying to check my phone and catch notifications on houses and stuff. But there's some that open up in the area that I want to live in, but they're just not in my price range. And actually, the square footage is way bigger than what I want anyways as well. Damn it. All right. Man, that really sucks too. So, continuing on with the article, since I got so easily distracted, right? It says Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas has told colleagues that some construction might resume along the border wall to plug some quote unquote gaps. The Washington Times reported on Monday. This article is from Thursday. It's from the Wednesday, the 7th. Man, today's night. I'm way off. That's funny though, man. So it says, according to the report, Mayorkas, whatever, said that while Biden had frozen Department of Defense funding for the wall, so he froze the funding for the wall, quote, that leaves room to make decisions as part of the administration, in particular areas of the wall that need renovation, particular projects that need to be finished, end quote. It's a joke, bro. You can't have a country without borders. Majority of the countries around the world, the borders that divide up different countries are usually natural borders, mountain ranges, a river, lake, bodies of water, something like that, right? So if you don't have that, then you're going to create, I don't know, a wall. China can have their wall. And we can sit here and say it's one of the 8, 7, whatever wonders of the world that you can so-called see from space. Kind of think about that. You can see the Great Wall of China from space. It's funny because they say that, yet you can never go up there to space and see it for yourself. You just got to take their word for it, but whatever. So the thing is, all these different places can have a wall. And as far as Canada goes, if you've ever been out anywhere near the northern borders, you had the Great Lake of Michigan, or the Great Lakes rather. So there goes some of your natural borders, and then you have a bunch of mountain ranges and stuff like that. You obviously don't have the same mountain ranges when you're talking about the southern border. But the fact for him to say we don't need a wall, we should have open borders, it's illogical. I get it. I felt that way at some point in time. I felt this way about a lot of this stuff at some point in time. Because emotionally, you want to sound good, you want to do the right thing, you want to be nice. But logically, you can't really be nice, man. Because if you want to have a country, well, you're going to have some type of border wall. You're going to have some type of border. And you're going to have some type of guard or security around that border. People got fences around their houses, right? Because they want up a fence or something to, one, outline their property. So when you have a country, you want a wall, you want some type of border to outline your property. And property in a sense, no, of course, no man can own land and stuff like that. But what they say is, oh, I put claim to this. So I'm saying, hey, I'm living here. You can live over there. And you come to that agreement and say, okay. They don't like to talk about when we talk about colonizers, European settlers, stuff like that. But there's a lot of peace treaties among the native that was already here and the people that came over. But the people that came over, they don't also talk about this either. They talk to the people that was already here. You don't want to talk about that. But if you look up, there's different peace treaties and stuff like that. And then the land wasn't always, some people already gave up that land. Like, you know what, we don't really want this anyways. Yeah, you guys can sit right here. Because for some reason, when we look back in past and history, we think that people weren't able to communicate and come up with some type of, I don't know, agreements. We just think everybody's barbaric a few hundred years ago. Because we act like we're so much more evolved now. He said construction could resume in gaps, gates, and areas where the wall had been built, but planned technology had not been installed. The report said, what the fuck is planned technology? Cameras? Like, what are they talking about? The Department of Homeland Security did not immediately respond to the insider's request for comment. Biden has pledged to not build another, quote, direct quote, another foot of wall, end quote. I remember him saying that. Then he said in one of the presidential debates, and Trump kept saying, you're lying, you're lying, you're lying. Said he halted all federal funding for the border wall on his first day in office and gave officials 60 days to determine how to proceed with Trump's half-finished project. You see how they're throwing shade at him, like blaming Trump? Oh, he didn't finish all the way. Because I think he tried to get Mexico to pay for it. They didn't pay for it, which Mexico was smart. I wouldn't pay for it either. I wouldn't pay for it. Why? Yeah, that's how business works, bro. Why would I do it? You want it, you pay for it. Like this, that's how business works. Trump's a businessman. You didn't cut out that deal right there. Okay, fair criticism. But there's also people within their own so-called government they didn't want that funding to go there. Then they just passed a $1.9 trillion stimulus package, and did that money go to rebuilding the wall or filling in the gaps? Oh, or that money went overseas and stuff, right? That money went to all these stupid ass projects, probably lining a lot of these politician pockets, fixing up some of these cities. Yet nothing for the border, huh? But now we're thinking about filling in the gaps. What are they gonna fill it in with rocks? What? You know, grab some sand and fill it in. And I like how they're saying gaps. Like, what's a gap? Because we talk about 100 feet, 100 yards, right? 1,000 meters. Like, that's what type of gap we're talking about. Because guess what? If it's bigger than 5 feet across or whatever, you get it. A normal human being can walk through. You understand? What happens if those gaps don't get filled in? Because right now it seems like the floodgates are just opening up. It's just opening up. They're worried about getting you vaccinated, yet people are coming across the border unvaccinated. And then some of them are trying to get vaccinated. Meanwhile, you can't get vaccinated. It's a joke, man. It's a joke, bro. It's a joke. I'm good where I'm at. I'm living in Florida, man. Peninsula. Surrounded by three areas of the state surrounded by water, right? I'm good with that. You want to come over here, you better catch a boat like Elion. Elion Gonzalez. Oh my God, I can't believe I said that. Oh my God. Oh man, that's funny though. Most construction work has been paused. The White House press secretary Jen Psaki said on Tuesday, "Wall construction remains paused to the extent permitted by law." That was a direct quote. She said, "Some has, so some has already been funded through a congressional authorization and funding allocation, but as agencies develop for a plan, it's paused while agencies are developing a plan for the president on the management of the federal funds." It's not that hard, man. It's not that hard. Trump already has a plan out. The past administration, the so-called past administration, already has a plan out, the funding and stuff. You telling me you gotta go through all these bureaucratic loopholes or bureaucracy, all these different talks and meetings and stuff to figure out how to put some metal up? And these are the people that we so-called want to run our country? These fucking geniuses right here? This is what everybody really wants? This is what we actually think these people know what they're talking about? They don't even care. They don't care. They don't care, man. They don't care, man. So last article, I literally just scratched my head because I literally just scratched my head. Cause I'm like, okay, I gotta wrap my head around this and try to see it from their perspective as I go into this. So this is from NPR, your national public radio, your public funded radio from the government, state run government. Because I don't know why we got like Qatar or Russia, like China. Like every government has the state run media. It's nothing new. PBS, public broadcasting station. NPR, national public radio. You have those things. So it says CDC director declares racism a serious public health threat. Before I even get into the article, for those of you on the audio version of the podcast, the CDC, if you don't know, the CDC director, Dr. Rochelle Lewinsky. Rochelle Lewinsky. She has dark hair. She has dark brown eyes. She's not pale skin. She looks like a person of color. That's the correct term they like to say. POC, a person of color. All these stupid acronyms, whatever. So as she's sitting there talking about racism, she is literally going against racism. Like, it's already debunked because she's saying it's a serious public health threat. But we have a person of color and a female director of the CDC. Oh, it's because Biden put her there. That's why. All right. You know what? We'll go with that. I'll run with that. I'll run with that. I'll run with that. So we have a person of color, CDC director, and a female. You got Kamala Harris, vice president, person of color, and a female. Wow, but racism is still a public threat. It's funny how they so-called got rid of the white supremacists and Trump out of the office, right? And they so-called put some color and women and stuff and transgenders and all the other shit into the administration, into government, and yet they're still saying we have all these issues, even though they are literally debunking that we have all these so-called racism and prejudice issues and sexism, wherever else the case. I seen an article the other day from Forbes, and it was talking about how there's so many women around the world in charge of finances and financial markets and corporations, stuff like that. I was like, no shit. There's nobody not paying attention. It's been like that for a while. Like nobody pays attention to this shit, man. IMF, European Central Bank, Christine Lagarde, talk about her often. Like the person in charge of the IMF is a female. Like, like, does anybody actually pay attention to these things? I don't think so. They just go off with emotions and say some shit. And we gotta learn to be more of a logical species, and that's our part of our evolution. Not become too logical, then become too analytical, and we lose some of our humanity. But we need to find a balance. So we need to have more logic in our conversations, more logic in our thought process, more logic in our discussions. Because when we continue to go along this emotional path, well, we get a lot of illogical shit that does not ever make sense and will not make sense. So as she's saying, it's a serious public health threat. She's literally a person of color and a female. Racism is such a public health threat that we have a person of color. Or is she not a person of color? Right? Is that what she's saying? She's not a person. You know what? Let me look her up. Let me look her up. Oh, please, 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 please. You know what would be great? Let her be like a goddamn immigrant or something like that. Like, oh my God, it would be awesome. That would be so amazing because this shit, you got just throw it back at these people, man. The shit that they say. Let's see. What? Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on. Her spouse is named Lauren David Lewinsky. Walensky is an American psychiatrist and a pediatric oncologist. I was trying to figure out, is that a male or female name? I was like, oh wait, she a lesbian too? I would die laughing. I mean, not that it makes any difference, but for these people it does because race makes something to them, sex makes something to them, religion makes like, or no, they want to shit on religion, so that don't matter. Spirituality, they don't care about either. They want to shit on that as well. Let's see some of her early life. It says, she was born Rochelle Paula Bursoff in Peabody, Massachusetts, to Edward Bursoff and Carol Bursoff Bernstein. So does that make her Jewish? Oh, please, man. 1991, she was blah blah. Of course, she went to John Hopkins School of Medicine. Of course, she went to John Hopkins. Of course, of course. I just want to know something about her. I just want to know like her ethnicity or something because she looks like a person of color. I don't know. I'm just saying. Well, she looks like a person of color, so maybe if I say her like her ethnicity or something, maybe it'll show up. Somebody somewhere has always had some information about the other person on the internet. Oh, how you dig into someone's family, but apparently it's not that hard. Let's see. Quick facts. Goddamn, she's 5'11", she's taller than me. I don't know why she has a net worth of $5 million if she has a salary of $261,000. I don't know how that equates to that much amount of money. Maybe some investments and stuff like that, I guess. Oh, let's see. I just want to see something about her family. Uh, she is believed to be an expert on both AIDS and as well as HIV. Okay, whatever. Uh, Man, this page just keeps scrolling all over the place. It's too busy trying to show a bunch of stupid ads. Okay, nationality said to be American. It says reach. No, no, no. I want to know more about her family, her parents. Okay, nobody's gonna say it. Whatever, man. She looks like it, so we're gonna roll with it. We're gonna roll with it. I just think it'll be funny, man. I really think it would be because I, maybe my eyes are different. Maybe you know what my fault. My fault. I know what it is. I actually don't see color in the terms of white and black like everybody else. So I know that you can look at someone and they can look so called white but not be that. It can be something different. It can be whatever. But okay, let's get into the article. So it says racism is a scourge. Wait a minute. Didn't I just read that word in another article? Didn't I just read that word? I did. It says Thursdays to seek to address a scourge, SCOURGE. And then in this article, it's using the same word, man. Words mean something, man. It's like these people are literally going off a script, right? It's like they're literally going off a script. Or they just suck at writing, which is probably both. Yeah, so American society is also a serious public health threat, according to the director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. It's funny because the more they talk about it, the more they make it seem like it is. Once again, always in the Air Force and the rest of the military, from things I heard other people say, perception is reality. They're literally trying to create a perception and using that as reality. But in reality, when you walk outside your house, so when you walk outside your house, one, are your neighbors of a different color, ethnicity, religious, cultural background, whatever. People driving around your neighborhood, the people that drive on the street with you, when you go to the store, when you go to school, when you go to work, do you see a bunch of different faces, a bunch of different races, a bunch of different colors? Do you, depending on where you live at, you might not see that much, you might. But that's the thing too, depending on where you live at. So if you leave outside your city and go into a different state or go somewhere else, another city, maybe a city 30 minutes away, do you see a bunch of different people? Do you see someone else? Is that not showing you that racism is not an issue in the manner in which you think it is an issue? And that's something I had to come to terms with myself as I was growing up to realize that, hey, people are just saying things. At times, they're talking about their own personal experience. But guess what? That's their own fucking personal experience. It's not the same for everybody. And also, perception is reality. So if you perceive that type of reality, that's what you're going to see. The same as I was talking, I think on a couple episodes ago, I was talking about my son. He was, oh, well, how come you treat her this way? I was like, no, guy. You just perceive it that way. Meanwhile, I'm worried about how you feel. I'm trying to do things to worry about you and stuff with her. Like, me and your sister are worried about you. And I'm like, actually, I yell at her the exact same way I yell at you. I try to be as balanced as possible, even though it's impossible and improbable that I can be completely balanced and treat them exactly the same because they are two different individual people. Yet, perception is reality. And as I was saying this, what he does, he starts laughing. I was like, you're laughing. I know why you're laughing. Because you know the shit didn't make sense. And he's like, yeah, I get it now. Exactly, bro. Because I was like, when you stop and think about it, I was like, push your emotions aside. We all are going to have emotions. We're emotional beings. It's part of being a human being. It's part of the human experience. Part of our evolution is to handle our emotions and think with our, I don't know, goddamn brains, right? Stop and think about what is actually being said, what is actually being portrayed. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Racism is so bad and it's a public health threat, but you have a person of color and a female, right? Vice president. You just had a so-called black president. Racism is so bad. But people hate him because he's black. Is that why they hate him? Is that why they hate him? Because if a black person does something and a white person criticizes that person for it, people who see racism and prejudice will perceive racism and prejudice in that situation, in that scenario, as opposed to asking the most obvious question first. Hey, why does this one individual not like this other individual? For what reasons? Not for what reason, but what reasons? Because we all do things for multiple reasons. We never just do anything for one reason. We do it for more than one reason. We do it for multiple reasons. Because we're, supposed to be complex beings. We're supposed to be highly evolved. We're supposed to have some type of conscious awareness, or our conscious level is higher than some of these other species on this planet. I question that sometimes because it doesn't look like it. But supposedly that's where we're at, right? Because we could build stuff, probably because we got fucking thumbs, but we could build things and we could do this stuff or whatever. So we feel like we're so much more evolved, and thus, if we are that, then we're complex. So that means you cannot simplify us all the time to one specific reason. So when they're talking about, racism is a public threat, a public health threat, how is racism affecting my health? How's racism affecting your health on a day-to-day basis? I thought COVID-19 was a public health threat. Oh, look, it does say that. It says in a statement released Thursday, Rochelle Walensky pointed to the disproportionate impact of COVID-19 on communities of color, as seen in case numbers, deaths, and social consequence. They're just making up something. Like they just made it up. They just made it up. Now you're telling me a virus cares about the color of someone's skin? We're talking about superficial things. Things that are not based on the conscious being. That's not based on a conscious individual. That's not based on your own personal experience. That's not based on you, the hypothetical individual. It's not based on that. It's all based on superficial things. Oh, the color of your skin. The color of your skin literally changes if you're in the sun too long, and if you don't have enough sun, it changes. Because based on the melanin in your body, passed on through genetics, which can change over generations. I don't know how much more science you need, because people like science, yet it's like nobody knows what the fuck science is, right? Especially when we talk about these articles and some of the things that the mainstream narrative pushes out, also the things that shitty ass government, United States government, pushes out. They say dumb things all the time, man. And it's insulting because it's literally a disrespect to your intelligence. It's a disrespect to your ability to critical think. It's a disrespect to your ability to comprehend. Reading comprehension in these articles. That's why I like to read these articles, because I like to see the verbiage. I like to see the words. So you can stop and think about it, because when you listen sometimes to it, it's a transference of emotions, because they are pandering. They are giving off some type of emotional reaction, emotional energy. And then even through the television, you get some type of emotional reaction as well. But at the same time, you don't get a chance to stop and think about it. Because if you stop and think about it, you can't wrap your head around it, because it doesn't make sense. It's not based in fact. It's not based in logic. They're just talking. Public health threat. Public health threat. So that means every time you go outside your house, if you're a so-called person of color, even though you can kind of argue the fact that white people will become a complete minority, which we know they will be a minority because they already said that by 2025. I learned that when I was a kid. Guess what? 4 years away. Right? You're going to have more mixed colors, brown colors, whatever fucking color of the rainbow they want to inaccurately categorize people as. But apparently, racism is such a public health threat. When you walk outside your door, you have to worry about racism all the time. So now when you walk outside your door, you have to worry about racism, prejudice, which basically damn near the same thing. We just use them incorrectly. And you have to worry about COVID-19. See, once again, increasing anxiety, increasing stress, increasing cortisol levels, making you sick. Because you're worried about white man does this, right? Where you're Asian, you're worried about black man beating your ass or something like that. Everybody's worried about something. Everybody's worried about race. But guess what? No one actually is worried about race on a day-to-day basis. You might perceive race or prejudice in a type of manner, but you still gonna go about your day. You might talk your shit to your friends or family members or whoever, and you might say it to yourself, but you still gonna be like, hey, we're all still gonna be cordial, whether it's honesty or whether it's fake. We're all still gonna be cordial to each other in public, because at the end of the day, we just want to get through our lives. Because whoever stranger that you meet will not be the biggest issue that you'll have this week. You got other issues, right? You got other things you got to deal with. You got other things you got to worry about. Oh my God. So what I'm talking about, man. I just checked my notification on my phone real quick just to see if any new house listings popped up. And it says this person, Chloe Kim, quote, I don't feel accepted, end quote. This is from this is an ESPN notification, so obviously it's sports related. It says Olympian reflects on why she spoke out on anti-Asian hate, how it affects her and her pride in being Korean American. Shut the fuck up. Chloe Kim can shut the fuck up. How about that? Right? I'm so disrespectful right now. Because man, one, nobody know who the fuck you are, Chloe Kim. Same as nobody know who the fuck I am. Two, anti-Asian hate. This whole phenomenon that you never heard of before in your life is now all of a sudden a thing. Right? Because we're not even going back talking about the construction of the railroads when you're talking about the expansion of America to the West. Because things I learned from so-called history in school, that's what they talk about. A lot of Asian racism came about or whatever. Not like Asians haven't been in this country for generations now, decades upon decades, not centuries, actually, literal centuries, I think. So, how it affects her and her pride in being Korean American. Korean American. Korean American. And if she's born in America, she's just a fucking American. It's like you can't be African American if you've never been to Africa, if you was never born in Africa, if you don't have no family lineage directly to Africa. Can't call yourself African American. It's disrespectful, it's distasteful, it's inaccurate. We don't say European Americans because it sounds stupid, right? We just say white people, which is crazy. We don't say Puerto Rican American. Sometimes we say Cuban American, which is because people literally came over from Cuba because they were trying to escape communism, right? They're trying to escape communism. Venezuelan American, but Korean American. But if you didn't just come over from Korea, and if you were born in America, that just makes you an American. Because if you want to classify yourself something, well, you go with the nation in which you were born in. God, you know what? I now want to kind of click on this. Let's see what it says. Can't even tell what the hell she looked like. So she won Olympic gold medalist for a long time, blah, blah. I experienced hate on a daily basis. For a long time, though, I stayed silent. Can I pull this up? Let's see. I don't think I can pull it up on the phone because it's on the ESPN app. Should be able to open in Safari and pull it up, though. Oh, yeah, here we go. Let me pull it up then. Shit is stupid, man. It's perfect timing, though, right? So, okay, here's the article right here. Here's a picture of her. Because I guess I'm supposed to look at her and be like, oh, yeah, she's Asian. Whatever. She's 20. She's fucking 20. She's 20. You know what's racist? What was that movie called? Crazy Rich Asians? Like, how more racist can you be? Why would you name a movie that and then be an Asian person or whatever and then be in that movie? Like, how stupid is that? Like, you think about it. Think about it. The movie's called Crazy Rich Asians. That's a racist ass title. That's like me being in a movie called Crazy Rich Black Man. It's bad, man. No one really thinks about how these arguments are nonsensical. They make no real logical uh explanation. They have no real. They're not based on anything. It's based on perception, which can easily be manipulated because your perception is based on your emotions. The reality in which you perceive is based on your emotions. Because the reality in which you wanted to perceive should not be something you perceive. It should be based on facts, something that you can study and have evidence. And you can't say there's a racism, public health crisis if every day majority of us walk outside of our building, outside of our house, go to the grocery store, go to the gym. We see all types of different races. Hell, everybody, me living in Florida, if you look white, pale skin, whatever, more than likely, you're probably from Puerto Rico. You're probably from Cuba. You're probably some type of Hispanic, white Hispanic, whatever. In fact, that's what they had a category as: white Hispanic or non-white Hispanic. Guess what? I put down other. Me and my kids are other. Fuck you and your classifications. We're other. Because at the end of the day, we are ourselves. We don't fit to none of your categories. Kiss our ass. But it's 20, man. 20. I skipped over that part that she's 20. Okay. Also, this is so perfect because, see, it's a perception of reality. If they push out this narrative all over the place, you will keep thinking about race, so you'll perceive it. You will perceive a reality based on your perception of it because all you hear in the media is this. But if you was never turn on the media, right? If you never really pay attention to this stuff and you'll go about your regular day life, you will not think anything about racism. You wouldn't think of it. If someone came up to you and they were of different skin color, ethnicity, cultural background, whatever, and they didn't like you, your first thought would be they don't like you. And you don't know what reason why they don't like you. Doesn't even matter. They just don't like you. And you know what? Then your next thought would be, well, it's not why don't you like me? It's, well, I don't care. Just because, okay, say you go into a store and you got issue with something, whatever. And I'm trying to think of something in my head that seems plausible or something like that. So yeah, I go into Publix, I go grocery shopping or whatever. And perfect scenario. Cause this type of stuff happens to me all the time. But I never take it as my color. I take it for different reasons. Because there are a multitude of reasons, right? I go grocery shopping. Obviously, I talked before. I go grocery shopping before right when I get home or right when I get done at the gym. And I try to knock out before I need to start the podcast. So I go grocery shopping early in the morning. To me, that's the best time to go anyway because there's not nobody there, right? Majority of people at work. I don't have a conventional job, so I can go at that time to shop and get my groceries. So I'm in the grocery store. I'm walking around. Now I go to Publix all the time, no mask on. I've been doing this for like, shit, I've been doing it for a long time now. I think about it. I've been doing it for a long time. Yeah, I've been doing it for a long time. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. So I go in there and I don't have no mask on. So my first thought is somebody say anything to me, it would be because I don't have a mask on. People really just look at me, but they don't think nothing of it. Just go about my business. Maybe I look like one of those health freaks. I walk around with workout clothes on all day. Maybe like, oh, he probably just think he's just fucking doesn't ever get sick. He lifts weights. He doesn't ever fucking get sick. Fuck him. I don't know. But see, these are the thoughts that go to my head. Is this what people are thinking? But at the same time, these are my own thoughts because I can't actually know what someone's actual intentions are unless they are honest enough to tell me. Other than that, I'm just guessing, making up shit. This older white man, let's play the race card. So this older white man comes up to me and he says, "Hey, what are you doing here shopping in a town like this?" I was like, "What?" I was like, it's the best time to shop or whatever. He's like, "Oh, you must have a day off." I was like, actually, no, I don't work. He's like, "Oh." I was like, "I'm a disabled vet." He's like, "Oh, okay." And it's like, then I think he said something like he was in the military. And I said something about me being in the military or whatever. I was like, "Yeah, I did a tour in Afghanistan." I was just talking now. I was just saying shit to see what type of reaction he would have just because it was funny to me. Because I was trying to figure out, what made him want to come and talk to me. And he was like, "Yeah, okay." Because one, he was talking to me like he knew me. So I was all thrown off. I was like, do I know him? Because everyone has a mask on. So I'm like, shit, have I seen his face before? because you've been one of the teachers at the school I was going to. Like, I don't know, because I can't see his whole face because you got a mask on. So that's one aspect of it. Then he goes on and keeps talking, whatever, blah blah, and then he finally walks away and stuff. And I'm just sitting thinking, like, why does it always happen to me? Why people come up and talk to me? Like, what is it about me? And then I was thinking, is he thinking because I'm black or something like that? I shouldn't be here at this time of day 'cause I'm supposed to be working. Of course, I didn't even, I don't think I even had that thought because I've come to realize and I trained myself to not have that thought first because that right off the bat makes no sense. Right? That right off the bat makes no sense. And I was like, well, maybe I have to remind myself that I do look young to people. I mean, if I don't cut my hair for a while, you can see the gray hairs in my face and my mustache. But if I cut my hair off, I know I still look young to people. It's kind of annoying, but hey, I'd rather take that. I'd rather look young than look old. I'll go with that. If I'm in my 30s and I look like I'm in my early 20s or mid 20s, if I look like I'm 10 years younger, I think I'm cool with that. It's not a bad thing. So yeah, let's go with that. But I was thinking like maybe you think I'm a young guy, I'm too young, and that's pretty much kind of what he was saying. Because I was trying to replay the conversation in my head. It's like I was still trying to think while he was saying stuff to me. But yeah, he was as I put recreated the conversation in my head, put together the words he was saying, thought more about it. He was really just trying to say, hey, young people don't be in here shopping like this at this time. What makes you be here? You must have a day off. But see, if I wanted to perceive racism and prejudice because of my skin color and because of his skin color, some people would go ahead and take that as, oh, because you're black. You think black people can't be off like that. You got to have jobs where you're working your ass off and stuff. You can't just have a job where, I don't know, maybe you're owning your own business or maybe you collect a paycheck some other type of way in unconventional methods. See how I spend that? Because that's some shit that I know black people will say. It's like that's some shit I know black people will say. Like that's flat out. I know that from personal experience. I know that's some shit black people will say, but it doesn't make sense, right? And I'm sitting here thinking like, man, people always want to talk to me. I was like, do I look nice or what's going on over there? And so I went to go check out and stuff. White lady at the cashier, right? Blonde hair woman, and and she was talking. I think I brought it up. I was like, hey, man, what the? I was like, I want to get someone else's opinion on this. So I was like, yeah, this guy just kept talking, being whatever. It's like, what am I doing here shopping at a time like this? But I guess he thought I was just young. She's like, well, you do look young. I was like, well, I'm in my 30s. And she's like, oh. She's like, I'm in my 30s too. I was like, oh, I didn't realize you looked that old. She's like, thank you. I was like, well, thank you. I appreciate it. But I'm sitting there laughing because I was like, I can't believe you came and talk to me like that. It's like, well, you probably just got one of those friendly faces. You just seem like a friendly person. And she said that she's talking to me too, like, friendly. So I was like, you know what? Maybe it's just me. And she's like, yeah, it's probably just you. You just seem like a really nice guy, a really nice, friendly person, and just easy to talk to. I was like, shit. And the funny thing is, this is something that I've been around. This happens to me my whole life. People just talk to me. People open up to me. I'm a complete stranger. People will tell me about their lives. They'll tell me their personal secrets. But it's just the aura, the presence I give off. And see, some of these racism and prejudice, some people are just negative, man. And it's not necessarily to a direct fault of their own, but if you surround yourself around negativity, well, guess what? You start to perceive a negative reality. It goes back to the conversation in which I had with my son. I was like, hey, you're perceiving a negative reality when you're worried about how I treat you and your sister. You perceive it as negatively. Because if you was paying attention, you'll notice that you got the brand new Xbox. She didn't. That you got the brand new this. You get this. She might get some of this and this, but really, she's thinking the same thing I'm thinking, that we're more concerned about you getting it, right? Because she's looking after you and I'm looking after you. Meanwhile, you're looking after nobody because he's the youngest. So obviously, it kind of goes that way sometimes. That's part of my parenting job, though, to get him to be more independent and be responsible for himself. But anyways, I was like, you're perceiving a negative reality because you're thinking negatively. As long as you think negatively, you will perceive a negative image. You will perceive a negative reality. Thus, you're surrounded by negativity in which you created yourself. Right? So when we're talking about racism and stuff like this, if you perceive it that way, you will see it that way. It's all based on your own conscious experience. It's all based on your own conscious experience. Because unless someone tells you exactly, no, I don't like it because of your skin color, you would not actually know. And even then, they still don't like it really because of something else that's what's inside themselves that they haven't figured out. Because they're a negative person. And their negativity has created them, has manifested into them becoming a toxic person. And I talked about that episode. Toxicity, it spreads around, and the mainstream media and the United States government supports that. They support toxicity. They support negative reality. They're trying to spin it like it's a positive thing, but they're just pushing a negative narrative. And people are consuming that negative narrative. Thus, they are accepting a negative perception of their own reality, as opposed to going along with their own conscious being, with their own conscious awareness, with their own thoughts, and really thinking about what's going on. Another scenario, I was in Publix yet again, right? Shopping in grocery shop around the same time, yet again, right? My skin color, right? Dark skin, black man, whatever. White dude, older guy. Light brown hair. The other guy was dark brown hair. This guy, light brown hair. He comes up to me. He said, "Hey, do you know where the candy's at?" I was like, I'm not sure. I think it's a couple hours down. I don't know. He's like, and he kind of looked at me like, and he realized I don't work there. I was sitting there thinking like, what would make him think I don't work here? Or that, yeah, what would make him think that I work here? And then see, conventional or not conventional, what I was programmed to think from the time I was a little kid is, oh, because he's white, I'm black. Because he's older, I must automatically think that he's racist because he comes from an older generation. But see, that's me having a negative perspective, right? Based on a negative programming I received as a child, in which I've been trying to debunk my whole life because it does not necessarily exist, right? And I say that because you'll have your KKK people and stuff like that, wherever they're at. They exist somewhere, but wherever they're at, they exist supposedly. And if they're hiding the fact that they're KKK members, well, guess what? That's actually what we want them to do. You ever think about that? It was like, oh, this KKK, there's white supremacy everywhere. Well, where is it? Oh, well, you gotta find it. They're hiding and stuff like that. They hide it. They hide their true intentions. Well, guess what? That's actually what we want them to do. Because when they come out in public, just want them to be cordial and respectful. If they go home and they have a hood in their closet, don't give a shit. You come to work, you shut the fuck up, you do your job, right? You come to school, you pay me no attention. We're in a group project, you pull your part of the weight in the project, we get this A, you go about your day. American History X, perfect movie. For that example, you say, I don't care about you being racist, I don't care about you being a Nazi. You come in here, you gotta work. You can set all that aside. When we leave here, you can hate me all you want to, but you come in here, you do your job. It's that simple, bro. It's that simple. That movie right there, I got something out of that movie because I sat there and really thought about certain aspects of that movie. Movie is propaganda, predictive programming, but if you use your own mind, you can see through all that stuff and find the messages you want to see if you want to find a positive message. To go back to the scenario or the situation that happened, and the guy asked about the candy stuff, and I believe so this probably had to be like last summer or something like that. And I think about it, or I think it was a time where there still was a mask, where public still wants you to wear a mask because they quietly just didn't say nothing. All of a sudden, the sign was in front of the entrance to sliding doors to put on a mask. Next thing you know, the sign pushed off to the side where the carts are at and stuff. So I was like, oh yeah, y'all think y'all slick. Yeah, to pull up the stickers for directions and one way and stuff down each aisle and stuff, and then you pull away the sign for mask. But I think it was the time, I think I had a mask on. Because I remember that because my first thought was, it's like, hey, you ain't got no mask on. And then I caught myself like, what the fuck is wrong with me, man? I'm saying like, oh, you ain't got no mask on. I'm like, wow, got you, program, got you. That shouldn't even be my first thought. My first thought should be, hey, this older gentleman needs some help. Because that's really what it was. He was just an old guy and he needed some help. Because I also heard on the intercom, they was talking about, hey, if you're walking around in public, make sure you have your mask on and stuff like that. I'm sitting there thinking, oh my God, that was just an old gentleman that came in and asked me where the candy was. You know what? He's old. I was actually, this is kind of prejudiced myself too, because I'm judging him by his age, but I'm really just going off the confusion, the look in his face. because the look in his face, he was kind of like, just he was just like off, right? Because when I was like, yeah, I don't know which aisle. I think it's on this aisle. He's like, and he's like, oh, you don't work here. I was like, no. He's like, okay. Maybe it was a little off. Maybe I had a green shirt on as well. And Publix has green aprons. Nah, did I? No, I don't even have a green shirt. No, I was also thinking about some whatever attire I had on. I was like, oh, maybe he thought I worked here, or maybe he thought like I was one of the. Because actually, when you're one of the vendors and stuff, sometimes they just got regular clothes, whatever. They drive around a truck and stuff like that, and they deliver the bread or wherever the case may be, and they put it on. You have to do that. For those that don't know, stock the shelves, so wherever you just don't just drop it off and leave. Sometimes you gotta do put it on the shelf, anyways. I was thinking, well, maybe that's what the case was, but I just knew that it wasn't coming from a place of hate. He was really, he just kind of clueless, kind of absent-minded. Hell, I get absent-minded sometimes, forget where I'm at. Right? Talk about for four of my medical issues, so that I get absent-minded. I don't know what I'm doing sometimes. Damn. I check my notifications yet again, and now DMX is dead. Although saw the writing on the wall for the past couple days, anyways. He's dead at 50 after a heart attack. The drugs, so they better not say COVID-19. Damn, DMX, bro. DMX, man. Where the hood at? Rough Riders anthem, man. Bro, all weekend, I'm playing DMX music, man. My kid's finna get a whole history lesson on DMX, man. Damn. Whatever. So goes life. But yeah, I was like, this guy maybe just really concerned and stuff, whatever. And then I seen him walk around. He still didn't know where the candy was at, and somebody helped him out and stuff. But yeah, man. See, it's situations like that you can easily perceive those as racism or prejudice because younger black guy, older white man, right? That's the scenario they want us to go with. But it's illogical because that's not actuality. Because these people did not come at me in no angry manner. They didn't come at me no prejudice. They didn't come at me even in an ignorant way. They had one obviously was a little kind of disoriented, not disoriented, a little kind of like trying to. He was just trying to find the candy. He was trying to find candy, and he was trying to find someone that looked like they might work there. It doesn't matter. I think he just walked down the wrong aisle, and he still couldn't find it. He was like, and he's oh, you don't work here. I was like, no. But I'm sitting here thinking, but I go here enough times, I should actually know where the candy is at. I felt bad that I couldn't tell him exactly where the candy aisle was at because I'm in there once a week almost in public. So I'm like, I should know exactly where it's at. And I couldn't help. I felt bad because I couldn't help him. I mean, see, that lets me know my evolution in life right there, my growth. Because I didn't take none of that negative. Instead, I was like, damn, I wish I could have helped him out. And I'm proud of myself for that. Like I was legit proud of myself for that. As I really sit here and think about it, I'm proud of myself. Because I could have took that negative, I could have took it all types of ways. But that was pointless. Someone came and asked me for help. And I tried to help him out, but I wasn't able to help him out exactly the way in which I know I'm capable of. Because I couldn't think exactly where the aisle was at because I was too busy throwing off trying to figure out why is he asked me. Why instead of just being like, yeah, don't worry, I can help you out. I could have showed him too. But no, I was too busy trying to figure out why is he asking me this? As opposed to saying, you know what? I think it's on this aisle, but hey, I'll walk with you. Let's see what we can find together. That's humanity. Right? That's humanity. That's what we're missing. That's what we need more of. That's humanity. Let me. I don't went off of somewhere else like I always do. I still want to read a little bit more of this article because I want to know. This girl's only 20, so the fuck, the fuck. Okay. So for a long time, I stayed silent. I was getting messages from people telling me I'm part of the problem because I was silent. I was like, do you realize I'm also Asian American and this affects me? When I experience trauma or anxiety, I shut down. I stay off my phone, turn off all my notifications, and deleted Instagram for a while. It was traumatizing. These are weak-minded people. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, sometimes it can get to you, but I don't even know who the fuck this lady is, but whatever. I stay off my phone, turn off all my notifications. Leah is traumatizing. Even if you get thousands of supportive messages, the hateful one will hit you the most. Yeah, that's. I want to say it's weakness, but I mean, you call it what you want. You need to be more emotionally, mentally tough. So once again, I was telling my kids, like, don't words hurt, yeah, because you let them hurt you. Be more tough. You gotta be more tough because there will always be somebody out there to say mean things to you. And guess what? People say mean things to other people because something's wrong with themselves. Something's wrong with something inside of them. It's not necessarily about you. Actually, it's just about them, and they just want to make someone else feel bad. I never spoke out of this before. Then last Wednesday, I was getting my hair done, and my hairstylist is also Korean American. We were talking about racism and how it's affected her and me. You're a, you're a gold medal Olympus. You're a gold medal Olympus. I guess it affected you in such a positive way. I don't know how to get out of that. Your hairstylist obviously has a job doing something that they love or they enjoy doing rather. At worst, because those type of conversations bring up anger and frustration, emotions. Those type of angers or those type of conversations bring up anger and frustration, emotions, not logic, emotions. Because you can feel some type of way, but just because you feel some type of way doesn't mean it makes logical sense. You feel in love. You could be in love with the wrong person. We all probably been there, been in love with the wrong person because you got caught in your emotions and probably thinking with that sexual organ, right? You're thinking with the wrong parts of your body instead of your brain, and you did some dumb shit. Let's be honest, because that's how powerful emotions are, and that's a whole part of our species. And the evolution of our species is trying to be able to handle our emotions. That I was so fed up with telling people, people telling me to be silent. I, I see maybe a 30 a day. Okay, so I get hundreds of these messages monthly. I see maybe 30 a day just because I'm a professional athlete or won the Olympics doesn't exempt me from racism. See, this is the same shit that, and this is crazy because this is also from Disney because it's ESPN. Parent company is Disney. And the same as I was talking about the Falcon Winter Soldier, how the Falcon still kind of got profiled by cops because he's black, even though that wouldn't happen in that reality of that show in that universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because he's a Falcon. Everybody knows he's a goddamn hero. He saved the goddamn universe. He's a part and contribute into that. Everybody would know who he is. And it's even stupid too because, well, the cops rolled up on him in a black neighborhood already. So I don't at least it looks like the way they were portraying it as a black neighborhood. Whatever, doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. And they're saying like, oh, just because I made all these accomplishments, people look at me as still just an Asian or still look at me as just my skin color. No, you look at yourself as just a skin color. You deny yourself because if those people are saying those things, that's their problem. Because let them look at the world through skin color. Let them be superficial. If you get sucked into this racism and prejudice stuff, you will become superficial as well because that's the type of reality in which you will perceive. Perception. Perception is being pushed upon you. You are supposed to be a conscious being and control or try to manifest your own reality, or at least try to handle something. But instead, you're allowing a perception to be pushed upon you. So she allowed all these negative messages to be pushed upon her. You see, I get racism from black people, as they call me a coon and Uncle Tom and whatever else, right? I mentioned that before. I get the racism from black people. And then white people say the exact same thing. And then my black friends, whoever, be like, oh man, that's racist of them to say that. Why? Black people say the exact same thing. So that means black people is racist just as much as the fucking white people. Don't worry. Doesn't matter. It doesn't make sense anyways. You just gotta understand that people don't make sense. But you also have to become more logical in the sense yourself. Right? This is what I have to tell myself constantly all the time. And remind my kids, use your brain. Think, and it's something my parents always told me. Think, think, think. Use your brain. Think, think, think. Think, 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 think. Think, think, think. Are you gonna cry about everything? No. Think, 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 think. I remember going to a nice restaurant in Pasadena with my parents and a couple of friends, and when I was 7, we were sitting near the older white men, and they were laughing. They asked me how my English was so good. I said, "Oh, I was born and raised here, and that's what I wanted to hear." But see, because that's just ignorance. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to be negative. It says at the time I didn't understand why they asked me that or why they were laughing. Well, what about your parents? Were your parents' English not that good? Are your parents immigrants? So I went to a school with kids who are white, and it felt so isolating. Lack of confidence, low self-esteem. My sport is very white. Once again, seeing the world through imaginary colors. Nobody's white. I can't call a Asian person yellow, but someone can call me black even though I'm not black. I can call a white person white even though they're not white. That's racism, right? That's prejudice. That's literal, by the definition, racism. Paying attention to race and judging people on a race when you call them white, when you call them black, whatever, is racism. Talked about before, racism is not necessarily a positive or negative, could be neutral. That's by the definition. By definition, check out my episode. It says, "I am racist and so are you." That's what it's about. Look at the definitions, the terms of these words, and seeing how really out of context they're used on a daily basis. And it's by design, it's intentional by the mainstream media, by entertainment, by the government to push this narrative because these people make money off of race. They're making money. I'm sitting here clicking on this article. They're getting clicks because of this article because focusing on race. They just happen to be talking about what I was talking about. I'm making fun of the CDC anyways, which I completely got off of. But this is funny to me. Look, when I won my first X Games medal at 13, people belittled my accomplishment because I was Asian. What people? Because negative reality. If you she already said she gets hundreds of messages, but like 30 or so would affect her. So you allow those 30 negative out of 100. So you allow 30% negativity to outweigh the 7% positivity. That's your fault. That's your fault. It gets no more brutally honest than that. That's your fault. Because you ignore the 70% of positivity and you paid attention to the 30% negativity. Thus, you just want to focus on the negative aspects of life. Because you can acknowledge that, right? But that doesn't mean you have to dwell on it. Because one, just people on the internet, you don't know who it is. You don't know these people is real person, not could just be there's trolls out there, right? Majority of stuff we see on the internet is just trolls. Like the guy I showed earlier on Twitter and stuff, probably just a troll. It's probably just someone just to fuck with me. Or just to fuck with anybody. It doesn't matter. It's what they do. This is how some people are, because they have their own issues. They have their own emptiness in their own life. But my thing is, which I want to read out this article, she can't call herself Korean American. She was born in America. She said, I was born and raised in America. You don't want to be labeled, you don't want nobody to look at you as a race or anything like that, yet you're trying to do nothing but identify as a race, even though Korean American would be a nationality. It has nothing to do with race, but whatever, it doesn't matter. The definition of these words mean nothing, man. Like, they mean nothing. These words are just thrown out of context all the time, man. Kind of wrap some of this up, get back to the CDC article. The results, she says, are stark health disparities that have mounted over generations. Oh, yeah. It's funny because look how they talk down on people. It says these social determinants of health have lifelong negative effects on the mental and physical health of individuals and communities of color. Where's the community of color at? Do you live in a community of color? If you are a white person, the majority of the people around you are people of color, do you live in a community of color? So are those people of color, are they affected or are you affected? Right? How do you isolate one specific group for no damn reason? Based on the skin color of some people that look similar to them? Like, that's racist in itself, right? To say all white people are bad, to say white people are bad is racist. To say white people are inherently racist is racist. To judge white people as a category is racist. We are literally watching racism be applied to white people through the mainstream narrative, through propaganda, through Disney movies, TV shows, all this shit, the government, everybody. We are literally watching a minority group being created right in front of our face. We are literally watching the script be flipped. So from where white people are so-called oppressors, now white people are starting to become the oppressed. Because these positions of power and stuff like that you think is power, all this other shit is being filled by minorities or people of color or whatever the case may be. Right? Talked about the blending of so-called races and ethnic backgrounds and cultures, where white people will become less and less. So they're going to become the minority, and thus that racism will continue to be applied because it's not going to stop, because it's done by design to set up opposing opposite sides of each other. And once it's done with white people, just move on to somebody else. We'll find some other way to divide up people, because that's what it's all about. None of the shit matters. None of the shit makes sense. You're not addressing anything. The biggest thing to COVID-19 is the government. Talked about on yesterday's podcast episode 116. Health, immune system, stuff like that. Vitamins. Are you getting the right nutrition? Are you getting exercise, sleep? That affects your health. But don't worry. That doesn't matter to these people. They want to say COVID-19 is affecting communities of color. You can't, you're just saying a statement, man. You can't back that up factually. So everybody gets COVID-19. Now you're taking down my race, my color, my ethnicity, wherever you want to go by. It's fun because I thought I can identify as anything I want. If I can identify as anything I want, how come I can't just identify as American? Why you gotta call me Korean American? Why you gotta call me African American? Right? Why do I gotta be called white if I don't identify as white? Well, you're white. You're inherently racist. Well, I don't want to identify as white anymore. I'm identifying as black now. You can't do that. Well, yeah, you can, because I can identify as a woman, right? Right? If my son wanted to dress up and be a girl, he could identify as a girl, right? You see where we're going with this? You want to know why you can't apply a narrative to different parts, or have you try to do some type of other analogy? It doesn't make sense because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense from a foundational level, from a fundamental standpoint. It does not make sense, and that's the whole point. Because it's all about emotion. It's all about emotion. Get the fuck out of here. So the CDC also launched a new web portal, Racism and Health, that's designed to be a hub for public and scientific information and discourse on the subject. These people think we're stupid, man. These people think we're stupid. And you know what? At some point, they're going to push it so hard, because they have to push all this. They have to push all this to accomplish their goals by design by 2030. So they have to push all this stuff. But they're going to push it so much that the boundaries of ridiculousness is going to get smaller. I think I'm saying that wrong, whatever. But the line of ridiculousness is going to get closer and closer and closer. Because as it seems further away, like, oh, you're trying to rationalize, like, oh, that makes sense. But that the ridiculous line is going to get closer and closer, where they're going to say something so ridiculous that you're going to be like, you know what? Doesn't make any sense. And that's when you start to think for yourself, and you really start to question all the stuff that's going on. Question everything. Because when you ask questions, there's no answers, because it doesn't make sense. I can't believe it. A website? It says the site notes that racism in both its structural and interpersonal forms has a negative effect on mental and physical health. These people are fucking insane, bro. These people are legit insane. These people are legit insane, man. The CDC committed to continuing to study how racism affects health and propose and implement solutions accordingly. But guess what? That's where they start with their regulations at, through public health guidelines. We see it already with COVID-19, mask mandates, lockdowns, restrictions, vaccines, COVID ID, vaccine passports, all of those stuff. You see it, right? It's all about conquer and divide. Divide up everybody. Then you can conquer them, and you strip away the rights and stuff like that. Or not strip away our rights. You give up your rights through your own ignorance, because you didn't take the time to sit down and think about this stuff. You, the hypothetical you. It doesn't make sense, man. It doesn't make sense. CDC commit. It will expand its investments in minority and other disproportionately affected communities to create quote unquote durable infrastructure to address disparities. They're just going to create so called public health guidelines to do certain things to address racism, but it's not for that. It's them trying to impose their will on us. It's them trying to get us to give up our free will. And if you don't pay close attention, you will walk away giving up all free will, giving up all control, giving up all independency to become dependent, to become a slave. A slave to me in the worst sense, because a physical slavery, at least you could see the physical change and stuff. You feel the physical pressure being applied to you. But what we're going to now, and probably what we already been in, is emotional and mental slavery. We're slaves to by our emotions because we're constantly being fed, oh, racism, prejudice, sexism, transphobia, homophobia, whatever. Words that are nonsensical, make no sense at all, right? Illogical. By definition, when you break the words down, when you read the actual definitions, they still don't make no sense. So much so that race doesn't even exist, but it doesn't matter because people just say, "Oh, it does exist," because we all think it exists. Like how imaginary is that shit, right? I mean, Santa Claus might as well fly down your chimney right now in the middle of summer in the goddamn day and bring you a gift, because that's how magical that shit sounds, right? Right? Race is not based on any science whatsoever. Superficial. When they say it's skin deep, guess what? It is skin deep. Hell, most of our bodies isn't even one specific color, anyways. Sun exposure, because we wear clothes, stuff like that. A lot of y'all faces is a little bit lighter because you've been wearing a mask most of the time, right? So your whole face gonna turn a whole different complexion. Somebody done got lighter because they weren't able to go outside the past few months or year or whatever. Whole different complexion. Makes no sense, man. Not based in science, as they try to sit here and say it's based in science. The science that they're talking about is the science that they're literally going to make up, and they're telling you they're going to make it up. Continuing to study how racism affect, you're making up stuff because we know what the CDC means when it says studies. Mannequins. They're just gonna make stuff up, man. Just gonna make stuff up, man. Man, you know what? I done ranted enough. I done went on a bunch of stuff. This shit is blowing my mind. I'm gonna wrap it up, man. As always, check out a live stream on D Live, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Come hang out in the chat. I'll try to answer you back or whatever. If anything, if there's a bunch of people there, which ain't nobody there anyways, but I'll hang around and stuff like that. You can contact me on my social media, my Gab or Twitter account. I think I have my Telegram up on. Check out my blog site, DamienJackson22.com, DAMIEN. I have the links to the social media accounts and links to different ways to digital platforms so you can listen to the podcast, the audio version. Upload the video version of the podcast immediately after the live stream and the audio version on Podbean and stuff like that. The video version goes up on YouTube, my Odyssey channel. Go ahead and check it out. I'm on episode 117, so I got a lot of episodes, man. I'm surprised I'm surprised I ain't made it this far, but you know what? I like doing this. I enjoy it. And sometimes, like, I don't feel like doing it today, but I'm like, nah, I'll just push through it. Just push through it. Other times, I actually do have stuff I need to take care of my own personal life, but there's sometimes I don't want to do it, but like, no, I push through it because when I get to talk, I get to talk. And although it's not a direct conversation with people, I know when people comment and stuff like that, I get to hear other people's thoughts and what they're thinking and stuff like that. And then when I write stuff on social media and see how people react and stuff, or talk, or text, or comment about certain things, rather, I'm starting to enjoy that. I've been getting used to it, so I appreciate all that stuff. And just like that person I put on blast on Twitter that I showed you guys, I also enjoy those conversations well because if anything, they make me laugh. It made me laugh because I'm coming from a logical standpoint, and that person is coming from I don't know what standpoint they come from. I don't know his logic, I don't know his emotion, I don't know, but it's funny to me because I don't know what they were trying to comprehend or what I was saying. They was trying to make something exist that didn't exist, but I appreciate it. made for a good topic of discussion. And that's what I started to feel like. I feel like I'm talking to people. I feel like I'm talking, right? I feel like I can hear what y'all saying. Or maybe it's just my many thoughts in my head that I can't shut off. Whatever. Maybe I'm going insane, right? Maybe I'm going crazy. I guess I got mental health issues anyway, so I'm already right that alley, man. Whatever. Hopefully you guys have a great weekend. Spend time with your family and friends. Do something. Whatever, man. All that good shit. So until next time.